Hi everybody, my name is Ange Headland, Community Experience Coordinator here at Diabetes Australia. Today's topic is from kitchen to collaboration and how ready meals can support a balanced diabetes lifestyle. Today we are joined by Beck McPhee, as many of you know, who's our accredited practicing dietitian and health coach, and Kiara, who is a nutritionist and product developer from Youfoodz. The ladies will be talking about the new Healthy Balanced Meal range, fresh, ready-made meals designed with you in mind and delivered directly to your door. These meals have been developed in collaboration with Diabetes Australia's nutrition experts. Every meal meets our nutrition criteria, so you can enjoy delicious, balanced food that supports your health and fits into your real life. So any questions at all, you can use the raise hand function or pop them in the Q&A or chat, which is at the top. You'll see the raise hand. It's got a little hand icon and raise underneath it. If you hit that, the ladies can then come to you if you have a question. If you don't want to talk, if you don't want to bring yourself off mute, you can put it in the chat or Q&A, as I said. I'll just read our acknowledgement of country and then I'll hand over. Diabetes Australia acknowledges Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples as the traditional owners and custodians of this country. We pay the utmost respect to them, their culture, and to their elders past and present. We extend that respect to the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people here today. Diabetes Australia is committed to improving health outcomes for all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people affected by diabetes and those at risk. And with that, I shall hand over to Beck and Kiara. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Thank you, Ange, my wing lady. And we're really excited to have this webinar today. To be honest, it really is a big milestone for Diabetes Australia because, you know me, Beck, I'm a dietitian. Kiara speaks my language. She's a nutritionist. And so for Diabetes United, we've provided a lot of education on nutrition. So the recipes and the meal plans, the webinars I do and the articles. But cooking's not always in the cards for some of us, for a lot of us Australians. And we have a duty of care to really look at how we can help people living with diabetes or at risk of diabetes about how to make healthy food choices when cooking's not on the cards. And so it made sense for us to collaborate with a company who do make ready meals. But you'll find today that it wasn't an easy journey because we have, as you all know, strict nutrition criteria for any of my recipes to pass. So working with Youfoodz has been fantastic because we came together with similar values in mind, making sure we provide quality, healthy meals for Australians that meet the standards. So I'm going to not talk about too much of it because I'd like to hear more about Kiara. I've met Kiara. I've been to the Youfoodz factory. So I understand what it takes to put a meal on the table. But I'd like to thank Kiara for coming. And I'm going to ask Kiara, one other thing, actually. A key part of this relationship is that 50 cents for every meal sold, 50 cents goes back to Diabetes Australia. Now, we're a not-for-profit organisation, so that profit goes back to you. It goes back to us having money to be able to do more. But thank you, Ange, big heart. It's exciting. It just means we can do more for you. So, Kiara, thank you. I'd like you to explain. She's got a great role. Explain a bit about your role, paint the picture, and then we'll start this journey of how this all came about.
Yeah, okay. So my role here within Youfoodz is nutritionist and product developer. So I am one of 2 recipe developers within the whole business. And our job is basically to develop what the customer eats, what you get in a tray, what you get delivered to your home. It sounds pretty simple, but it has a lot of nuances and details going on behind the scenes. So we will be given a project, say from our brand team strategy, and it's up to us on what that looks like and how we deliver that to our customer. So day to day is pretty varied. It can be from tasting new ingredients, comparing broccoli, what broccoli do we like better, and also taking those recipes that we developed with the 2 chefs and turning them into something that we can deliver to our customers. How does it scale up? How does it look in a tray? We eat with our eyes first, so does it look good? Is there too many of one color? These are very specific things we look for. It's really exciting. I love my job, and particularly stepping into that nutritional side of things now, keeping up with nutritional news, what are the latest trends, and really, I guess, specifically for the last maybe since I've been here, very targeted towards what our customers are looking for. And they are really looking for a healthy, balanced meal now that doesn't sacrifice flavor. And we are all about flavor here. So meshing the two together is exciting and it's a challenge, but yeah, my job is very cool. I can't believe that this is my job.
And we know, thanks, Kiara, that we know that the research says that people living with diabetes have to make an extra 180 decisions a day. So, you know, what we really wanted to see is taking at least one decision away. And so, you know, wherever you are, whether you're living at home alone or you're really busy, I know my sister is going to have surgery very soon on her ankle. She doesn't have diabetes, but she's worried about weight gain because she's middle age and she's an exercise nut, but she cannot exercise for almost a year. And so, you know, for people like that as well, making sure that you if you can't stand up and cook, what meals are out there that are going to be calorie controlled, high protein, because who finds that it can be a bit of a minefield when it comes to all the different ready meals. You've got frozen ones, you've got fresh ones, and to be honest, up until today, I haven't really recommended any ready meals until we met with Youfoodz and were able to work together and say, this is the criteria, this is what we adhere to for our members with diabetes in terms of calories, protein, saturated fat, carbs is a big one, isn't it? Because we know that from our webinars, fiber, massive as well, and sodium. And so what I've found from Youfoodz, and I'm going to get Kiara to explain and take over, is one of the biggest things from my research is that a lot of ready meals are high in salt. Has anyone found that, any members, have you found that when you are looking for ready meals, have you found that a lot of them are high in salt, or any concerns? You can take yourself off mute. What are some of the concerns about nutrition have you found with ready meals? Is it the carbs? Is it the sodium? Or is it, how do I read the food label? What are people's experiences? Yes, Siggy.
Hey guys. Yeah, with you may remember from last time I mentioned that my mum is on dialysis, so we have to be very sodium conscious, potassium as well. And before my husband and I moved up to the Sunshine Coast, there was a couple of times where you know, we thought mum and when my dad was still alive would benefit from some sort of ready meal thing. And looking at them, they are all so high in sodium, and I found really super carb heavy as well. Now that's a concern for me, being diabetic.
Yes.
And because I suppose I am being quite strict with my carbs at the moment, I'm still looking at them going, yeah, I can see the calories control, the sodium's better, but they're still pretty high in carbs. So I guess with the youth, because I haven't checked out the Youfood ones, they look lovely comparatively, by the way. we've done a couple of different, we did like the HelloFresh cook your own thing and all that sort of thing as well. So yeah, I guess my only concern about the Youfoodz is because I'm personally being so strict on my carbs. For me, they're still a little high in carbs. That's my only concern.
That's a few good points, Siggy. And Youfoodz is HelloFresh. They're one, which is good to know. Yeah,
okay, I didn't know that. Great.
Part of the Sam family, and I didn't know when we formed this relationship. But I think you're spot on, Siggy. I'm glad you've joined today because, you know, Siggy, you know, you're watching your carbs, but then you're looking at chronic kidney disease with your mum. You're looking at, you know, sodium and potassium, and Kiara and I were talking about this, that there are some non-negotiables. With Kiara, we actually speak the same language, and she said, yeah, definitely sodium. It's far too high in sodium, and we're going to run through what we've adhered to because of the processing methods and everything. They tend to be high in salt to preserve the product, but definitely carbs, Siggy, you're absolutely right. Like you can see a lot of ready meals that might be calorie controlled, but it's a lot of pasta with just a few little bits of ham to make a carbonara. I mean, that's going to be high in salt. You're not going to get the protein. And so we know that protein and fiber is what that contributes to that satiety. We want you to feel full. And that's where I found with Youfoodz, because I got to taste test all of them. But I'm going to hand over to Chiara because I'll get her to talk a little bit about that. And like I said, we started off with the nutrition criteria, and then it was big pressure. We said, all right, over to you guys. And there had to be a lot of tweaking and to produce diabetes-friendly range. And we are going to be going on, Chiara will share her screen later on to get on the website to show you the ones that we've recommended. It's actually a logo, so it's really easy to spot, and they're going to be very different to the other meal range. But then, like I said, like my sister, there are other family members who can choose the meals as well. But I'm going to hand over to Chiara and just, walk us through this journey. Yeah, great, thanks.
If that's all right. Let me just see if this one. Can everyone see that perfectly?
Yes.
Yep. Perfect, easy. So like you said, Rebecca, we met together at the very beginning and sort of deciphered what this range would look like. Before I had met you or met any of the other team, my task was given to me of like, if we were going to go down this route, what would this look nutritionally? Normally within the way we develop our range here at Youfoodz, flavor. What are our flavor pillars? What are we going for in cuisine? So to sort of work backwards in a way was a challenge. I'm up for a challenge. So I said, hell yes, please give this to me. And basically I developed a guardrail or a guidepost of what I thought this meal would look like, carb-wise, fiber-wise, what protein we should have in it. And then Rebecca and I met and we basically showed each other what we thought. This is my version, this is your version. And I would say 90% of it, we were actually on par, which was very exciting. Right. And I were on the right track. But like you said, the sodium and carb content is quite hard to hit. The way that ready-made meals are, we started in 2012 and we are the leader in the ready-made meal category because our the way we differ ourselves from other brands is we are fresh. We're not frozen. Like you said, Rebecca, when you went into the factory, you go in there and people are cutting the carrots. There are big, crates of broccoli. It's, I think that gets lost in translation sometimes. And it's really exciting to sort of show that to you and to everyone and go, this is how we differ. This is why we are better. And particularly what we struggled with was the sodium content. So what we sort of decided with was our key pillars were the call outs of good source or excellent source of dietary fiber. So 50% of the range we developed is actually an excellent source of dietary fiber, which is really exciting. So meaning that if you have 2 of these meals, 3 of these meals today, your dietary intake of fiber is done for the day, which is really great. And like you said, Beck, that adds to, feeling fuller for longer. And that's really important as well. Good source of protein was something that we went into. So at least 20 grams of protein per meal, which was really important as well. And then key part was the 30 grams of carbohydrates per meal. So when you think of carbohydrates, it's not just, potatoes and pasta. It comes in with your veggies as well. So thinking of how we were going to build out a range that looked great, because like I said, we eat with our eyes and, people were going to enjoy and it was going to taste great because our pillar is taste. How do they all come back together to that one key component? Are people going to like this? Are our customers going to enjoy eating this? And my personal goal was that I didn't want someone to look at a meal and go, yep, that's a meal for someone who's got diabetes. I wanted someone to look at it and go, that looks great. That is so yummy. So that's hopefully what we did. I think we did well. And when you were in the kitchen, Beck, I think it was quite well received, which was exciting.
Well, it reminds me of like when we were in the kitchen. Siggy's got a great question I'm going to ask in a minute. But when we were in the kitchen, the biggest thing that really came home to me, because I've been in factories before. I remember when I was a placement dietitian years and years ago, and you'd go to different factories, and there's a lot of processing and a lot of sachet, like big bags of things going into products. You think, oh my goodness, what is that? But I felt like in the kitchen, it was like my kitchen at home, but just on a large scale, because you'd have the sweet, and it reminds me of my recipes. They're quite similar. So, and Kiara and I shared recipes. You'd have just bulk chopped sweet potato, and I'm thinking, I can smell smoked paprika, which is one of my favorite spices. And it was just vats of just like the sauces, and it was just, oh, they just use here oregano, red wine, tomato, and it was very, very minimal processing, and it just smelt like your own kitchen, which was great. And I was going to come back to another thing, but I'm going to ask the question. This is from Siggy. What's the shelf life of the meals, and how long does the process take from plate to table? It's a very good question.
Oh, so shelf life across this range, we actually have decreased it, because to us, freshness is really important. And the way you eat your meal on the last day of shelf life, we want it to taste how it should on day one. We're very strict with that. Every meal that goes through our channel goes through a shelf life tasting period. Every Monday we go through that. We taste all the meals and we go, yep, this is still great. Or we go, no, let's go back. We're going to cut it off at this point. So at this stage, the diabetes range is 11 to 12 days. That's from being packed out to the customer. So once you get your box, you've got a solid week to consume that meal, and it will taste just as good as it did on day one. And in terms of what was that, plate to? Yeah, from the kitchen to your So in terms of if like when the development starts to when it gets to the customer, it really does depend. It's about 12 to 13 weeks of development. So from the moment we get given a project across the range of shelf life, how it's going to be processed in the factory, can this be scaled up? It's about a 13-week period from when we start the initial development period to when it actually goes on the menu to the customer, which sounds like a long time, but there's a lot to do in that period of time as well to make sure that what you get is the best.
And is it from when it's being processed in the kitchen to then packaged and sent to the customer? Is that about 2 days, 1 or 2 days or something?
2 days, yeah. 2 days.
2 days.
Yeah. This range in particular is just 1 day, I'm pretty sure, or a day and a half. So we don't hold on to things. We make tray send. That's the process that we go down. Yeah. And
then Siggy's got another great question. The meals are heat and eat, yeah? And I said yes, which is great. Can you tell me as well, I know you might have it in the next slides, but what really was impressive is because, like I said, with our nutrition criteria, and that was updated this year, so it's really hard to create a recipe to make sure you get the protein right and the fibre, but we increased our fibre by 2 grams. So normally recipes had to be at least 5 grams of fibre or more, but we increased it to 7 grams because, just like Kiara said, if you're having a couple of meals, we want to make sure you hit that fibre target a day. And I've said that in many of our webinars, we're not just looking at diabetes management, we're looking at bowel cancer prevention, we're looking at other chronic diseases we want to prevent or avoid. But Kiara, tell us, what I found was that you had to, because to get the fibre up to 7 grams and reduce the carbs or keep the carbs below 30, it's kind of hard. So did you have to increase the package size to allow for more veg? Is that what it was about?
Yeah, so normally we have a set tray size, and this is what I mean by there's so many nuances when you develop a new range, even considering the size of the tray it goes in. So because we did increase the volume of our vegetables in these meals, we had to actually increase the tray size that we put them in. So normally they're about like this deep, and we actually increased them to about this deep so that we could accommodate for that extra veg and the more volume of food that we were going to put in. So yeah.
And I've got a great question from Melissa. Hey Melissa, can these be bought in the supermarket or only online for the diabetes ones?
So diabetes are online at the moment, but we shall see.
This is just, we've just started, so yeah, let never say never.
Yeah.
Let's see if there's another question. Can they be frozen to be consumed later?
They can be frozen, but the
Yeah.
recommendation is to, once you get them, eat them straight away. They're always going to taste better. They're
Yeah.
designed fresh anyway, so
Understood.
that's my recommendation. They technically can be, but
Yep.
you have them, yeah, for sure.
And the good thing about, if you've got type 1 diabetes or if you've got type 2 and also, watching the carbs, so the label, what sees what you get. So you'll get the per serve and per 100 grams. And then the last webinar I did was about food labels. And I know some of you were on there. And so remember I said the more ingredients that are on the label, just run away. There's minimal ingredients with Youfoodz. You'll be filled with just the herbs and spices and everything. So that's the first thing to do is look at the ingredient list. And then you'll see how fresh it is. And Kiara, tell us about what I also found impressive, because we went to the factory, is about the because another thing we're really looking at is fresh is best, but where are the veggies sourced from? Where are we getting our produce from? Can you talk a bit about that?
Yeah, so we do our utmost. We try our hardest to source our fresh produce from local farmers from around Australia. That's really important to us. It can be difficult at times depending on seasonality of some of those fruits, of those vegetables. But yeah, we source them locally from Australian farmers, which is really exciting, and we want to be supportive of that. And like I said before, things come in giant, big crates of, sweet potatoes, and they're all misshapen. They're not perfect. And we take it all in. We cut onions by hand. Things are. When I first started, it was quite amazing about how much, I guess, human labor was going into all of these things. And I think that's really important. And it also adds that element of homemade feel to it. There's a little bit more like homemade style, a little bit more flavor. Even things like our spices, like our like the seasonings we put on top of our chicken, they're all blends that we make here. They're not pre-packaged in, which is really exciting. And I think we should let that be known more, I think.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like I said, I haven't recommended ready meals to anyone before, but I'm dealing with patients over the years. I'd have to pick from best of a bad bunch and think, okay, so if you're on your own and you're not really eating anything but tea and toast, okay, go for this ready meal. It's got at least a bit of protein, but it's very hard to find meals that you can get. A lot of ready meals now that have that protein, but they don't have that fiber aspect, and that I think is a problem. And also they have a lot of sodium, so that can be a concern. So you need to tick all those boxes. So like I said, the Youfoodz are like my recipes really, because they have to adhere to that criteria and very similar flavors, which I love. I wish I had a chef with me to create the meals. That's what I'm jealous of. Have you got other to share? Yeah, Kiara. So have you got other?
Yeah. So I just wanted to touch on, I think, like you said before, Beck, about the sodium levels.
Yes.
This was our biggest challenge, I would say. Salt in food doesn't just make things taste salty. It enhances flavors that are already in foods as well. It also helps with longevity of food as well. So it helps extend shelf life. So when it's, I guess, we got to bring that down. There's a lot of other aspects that we got to think of as well. So we did a lot of work across myself and the chefs and the food technologists that are here, production, procurement. Basically, every department in this business was across this, and it was our biggest goal for, okay, this is the challenge that we've been set, and we really want to hit it. And when we presented it in the kitchen to Diabetes Australia, it got a few hugs, which was very exciting.
I screamed and hugged, because to be honest, when we first met, I thought, oh yeah, this nutritionist, yep, she's pretty cool. And I'm very protective of our criteria. And then when we looked at the sodium, it was, oh, okay, I understand. And I got a pretty quick understanding that we do need sodium in meals for like you said, not just flavor, but preservation. And I thought, oh, I don't know about this. And so we said 600 milligrams, if you can get around there. Now, to be honest, the meals that we tested are way below 600. I know there's some that are 400 and something. So Siggy, really was trying to raise our flag high to think we really have to be careful of sodium. And I was really to be honest, shocked and very excited because I thought we've come such a long way. And I think you used a brine that was a lower salt brine, lower sodium
Yeah.
brine. Is that
Yeah, we used a low sodium brine for particularly our meats, which was something that that's very hard to find. It's not accessible, and it took a lot of research and finding that, and the procurement and the food tech team here did an amazing job. My job at the start was to take the 24 meals and start on desk-based nutritional analysis. And the flag was that with the sodium intake, it sort of ruled out a lot of our key components that we really wanted to use. So some of our favorite sources we couldn't use because the sodium was pretty too high. And so when we did the analysis and we brought it down, we actually had a 50% reduction across the range.
massive.
Really, really exciting. And it meant that we could use more of our sort of what we call our hero sauces, our cacciatore sauce, our tomato sauce, so that, the flavors that we are known for and people love, they don't have to be sacrificed for this range as well. So it was a challenge, but it was very exciting when we got that analysis back saying that that was the reduction that we got. And yeah, hoping to implement that across our whole range now, which is really good.
Oh, definitely. And tell me, I'm just answering Siggy's question. She says, is that sodium, as we learned last week, salt comes in many different names. So yes, less than or equal to 600 milligrams per meal. But I guess the name that you probably see on the label would be brine, or what would be the salt? Well done, Siggy, because we did our food labelling, which was quite timely actually, a webinar last week to say there are different types of salt. So salty salt. What would be the main names that would see in the ingredient list? Would it be a bit like brine, or
it would probably be more it'd be a mixture of like the brine and the and salt that comes in the specific flavors and spices. Or if
you used a mustard, it might be like a Dijon mustard or something.
Because things like that, it'd be definitely a mixture, not all from brine, but and I think in terms of flavor, it's really hard to uphold that when you have to reduce that. For example, we were desperate to have a bolognese on the menu, and how do you do a spaghetti bolognese or a fettuccine bolognese when you have 30 grams of carbs, you have a sodium intake to adhere to, fiber, saturated fat? How do you get that meal into that tray? And so I specifically developed a low sodium bolognese sauce, and the task was that we didn't tell anyone it was low sodium, and it was just presented to the chefs and some of the other
don't tell the chefs.
And we just said, taste it, what are your thoughts? And in my head I was very much expecting someone to go, oh, it needs seasoning, it needs more salt. And the feedback was, oh wow, it tastes like something that my mum would make, or the veggies added into this tastes great. So we wanted to go in there with completely no bias with it. It was received really well. So doesn't mean that you can't have spaghetti bolognese.
Well, especially with chefs. And I think, is it a hidden veggie bolognese? Because I was so proud when I saw it, because I've got a hidden veggie bolognese for our members that I've written and put in our meal plan. And when I saw, because we speak the same language, you put carrot in it, gives a natural sweetness. And I'm so excited that the chefs, because they, it's usually a handful of this and like butter and, just a little bit of salt. So I'm quite impressed.
Sprinkle of salt is very different to what theirs is. They always say just like a pinch of salt, and I'm like, we're different on that. Like, give me it in grams, so we're equal.
That's right. Now I've got Derek, a great question. What are the? Oh, hang on a bit. What are the? I remember reading it, but I can't find it. But what are the trays made out of?
So they are a type of. That's a very good question, and the name has just.
Or we can email if there's anything we don't know, or if we don't get to all our questions. What we do is when we upload this to the forum, we will answer any other questions as well. Like, we'll come back with answers.
Yeah, I think it's a type of, like, it's called Mac Pack plastic, I believe. Yeah. And we are looking at sort of different areas of what our packaging will look like in the future too, which is really exciting. So in
Good.
terms of, I guess, being more environmentally friendly, what does that look like?
Yep.
And the thing is, with having it in a packaging that's designed to go into a microwave, we have to make sure that it is heat proof, it's heat safe, and nothing's going to happen there. And which
that's what Derek's saying. Yeah, like making sure he's worried about heating in plastic, in the microwave.
Yeah, completely fine. And I've got set times there of like how much they can go into the microwave for. But we've done extensive testing on that as well. It also makes it hard too when we are a flat seal. We're not vacuum sealed as well. That changes the type of packaging as well. So, yeah, it's something that we definitely are looking towards in the future. In the back of our minds, what does packaging look like in the future? Are customers more aware of environmentally friendly options and things like that? Yeah, but I can definitely get the specific name as well.
That's a good question. Now, do you have another slide or?
Yeah, I just wanted to very quickly. Where did it go? So with the range. So this was our little presentation that we had with Diabetes Australia, which was very exciting. So some of the key meals here on plate. So we have the sun-dried tomato, pumpkin, pea, fettuccine. This is the one in the middle is a, how would you describe it? It's like a sweet and sour capsicum sauce for chicken. It's got like a really beautiful grain salad. And then the other one is actually harissa sauce with white fish and paprika spice chips, which is really good as well. But in terms of the range, obviously, when you have a range of 24, 25 meals, they can't all be chicken, and they can't all be roast dinners, and they can't all be the same sauce. So the challenge was then, okay, we started actually with a desk-based development of 40 meals. I developed 40 meals on FoodWorks and made sure that they were nutritionally sound. And then the chefs took a look at them and said, okay, these flavor profiles work better. And then we went into development. We made these meals, we tasted, we remade, we tasted, we remade, we tasted. So in terms of the range itself, we came down with a protein variety of like vegetarian, pork, roast chicken, roast beef, one beef mince meal and 2 fish. And then we also tried to split it up between cuisines as well. So Australian, Asian style dishes, Mediterranean, American, Italian. So that was really important to us as well, that there was a variety there, and you sort of weren't, if you were going to get a box of say 8 meals in there, you were going to have different meals.
Yep. No, fantastic. That's great. So there's 24 to 25 meals that they've come up with, and that's just because one of my questions was, what's the future? Are there more diabetes friendly ranges coming out?
Yeah, there's I definitely have a bank of meals in my culinary little notepad here.
Love it. That's good.
We've already looked at new ingredients for lower carb rices, lower carb spaghetti.
Right. That was our next. Yes.
Yeah, lower salt, spice mixes, things like that. It's always there. It's in the back of our mind. And the range is ready to go. We can kick it off.
Fantastic. Now, Melissa had a question that's going to lead into the next bit, because we'd love to actually get on the website. And, when you order from a company, I know sometimes there's a teething issue, so it's trying to get used to the ordering system. And so Kiara's going to show us where to find them. So that was your question, Melissa, too. And it's quite easy because you're just going to look for the Diabetes Australia logo, but she'll show you how to do it and some bit of troubleshooting as well.
Yeah. So I'll just share my screen. So
and there is a discount as well, up to $200 for people with members from Diabetes Australia members, but it depends on how many you order. So you don't just get $200 discounted. It's the more you order that you get a bigger discount. Is that correct?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, and it'll come down in the cart, like when you order it, and there'll be a discount. So let's have a little look.
Alrighty, so this is my beautiful little account. So when we first sign up, you'll create an account and it will ask you for your preferences. So this is what it's going to look like on your screen. So what I will do first is I actually want to take you into how you would select the preference. So if we go up into, everyone can see my screen, right?
Yep.
Perfect. So if we go up into my settings, if we click on that, it comes up here and we go plan selection. So this is where you can edit your preference and what sort of automatically goes into one of your pre-selected boxes, I guess. So if you edit that, you can actually change it to vegetarian, whatever you're looking for. So healthy balanced is the range that is the diabetes range is under. You can customize how many meals you want a week. So you can change that at any time. And so that'll sort of the algorithm will push those meals more towards like the front of your page for you. So in terms of changing delivery, you've got your delivery address down here as well. And then also here, you can change or deactivate your plan. So if we go into my menu up the top.
Here we are. Is there just one thing, because there is a healthy balance range, but then they're not Diabetes Australia ones as well. So we're looking for the logo ones. So if you scroll down a bit, so guys, you'll see, look for the logo.
Yeah, so if we go into edit meals, so this is where you can sort of select, and up here you've got all of the different options. So scroll across and we've got,
and that's the other thing I didn't find is you've got to scroll across to find diabetes friendly, because I thought, where's our meals? So you've got to scroll across to get there. Yeah,
so
that's it.
Meals here, and anything with that big blue circular logo, that is what you're looking for. So add extra meals. So I've got one of these meals already in my pre-selected box as well. And you can just add these meals. We have new meals on the website coming each week as well. So there'll be variety. So they're not always the same. Like I said, there's 20, 24, 25 in the bank. So they're always coming. Yeah. And then in terms of changing. If we want to go, sorry, let me go. In terms of changing what meals we want, I just go cancel. So if I go edit meals, oh, sorry. Let's go to this one here. So this is where you can actually change or skip your delivery as well. Okay. So edit meals, where you're changing what type of meal you're going to have in your box, and then change or skip delivery. You can reschedule, change how many meals you want in a box, or you can skip a week as well. So over Christmas, we get a lot of people who will skip this type of period, but they're obviously going to come and order from, you know, the Christmas period onwards. So they just skip however many weeks they like as well.
So my question is, if it's not changed, it will be an automatic delivery. And so I get that with some skincare, and that's fine. But I know I've ordered things in the past and I didn't realise. I'm thinking, why am I getting this box of? So just be aware that, if you don't change that, if you don't want it to be automatic every week, some people do, then like Kiara said, just skip a week. You might want to try a week first. And so make sure you know that how often you're getting it. That's what we want.
So, skipping's easy. There's obviously a deactivate button there as well, which has actually just been implemented this year as well.
Right.
Just for the ease of customer shopping. We know that people want to try, but maybe it doesn't work, and that's fine. But the skip or change is definitely the easiest part to operate as well. Yeah.
And I'm thinking definitely over the Christmas season, you might be going on holidays or visiting family. So making sure you don't get all these beautiful meals delivered to your door. Your neighbour will be happy. Melissa had a great question. She said, Rebecca, would you suggest this range for an every night meal for the week? And I can't believe I'm saying yes, because I've never said yes before. And the reason why is because it adheres to our strict nutrition criteria. So the recipes you see that are sent from me and my meal plans, they're exactly the same because they meet that criteria. So it means that it's nutritionally complete to eat them every night. So, so not a problem. And the portion control. So like I said, those specifications, calories, protein, needs to be over 20 grams, and that's expensive. You know, when you think of what manufacturers have to do, they usually skimp and, like I said, have the piddly bits of ham to make a carbonara and fill it with carbs because carbs are cheap, right?
Yeah.
So it's calories or kilojoules, protein, saturated fat, okay, carbohydrates got to be less than 30, fiber, and then sodium. So there's 6 elements to the nutrition criteria.
Yeah.
Oh yes, Melissa, I was just going to say, gosh, I like this way of thinking. Melissa said, are they going to be doing lunches and breakfast? So you could have the meals as a lunch, you could order 2 for the day, but with breakfast, I mean, our long-term plan, and Kiara, when we first met, we were getting excited. We would love to see a whole diet. So you can order breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And so you can have a diabetes-friendly diet plan. So yeah, that is something I envisage down the track.
Yeah.
But you could have these for lunch. You could order
Yeah. 100%. And I think one of the aspects that we sort of went about at the start was that we wanted it to be how someone would eat throughout the whole day, not just how a meal would fill one spot. It needed to be sort of how it would include a full meal plan for the day. And hopefully that'll be the long-term goal of what that looks like, because that would be phenomenal. Yeah,
absolutely. So that's, you're spot on. Rather than thinking it's just that one meal, that's why we increase the fiber. We want that to be a whole day's worth. Rather than just a random meal. So yeah, watch this space, but one step at a time. Tell me, Kiara, the other thing I found interesting was, do you remember when we raised the bar and said you have to meet fiber of 7 grams? Tell us about, you said that, and then we had to keep the carbs low. So you had to go back and look at the vegetables, the carby ones, the less carby ones. But then you said that you were able to add more vegetables to, you actually increased the range of vegetables based on our nutrition criteria.
Yeah. So I guess like carbs are in everything. So once you sort of get rid of one thing, the range is very tricky. It's nuanced. You take away a gram of this, and then, you might add, you might go over that 30 grams of carbohydrates, or you might add, 10 extra grams of peas, and then you're all of a sudden you've hit your fiber, but then you're over that carb content. So sort of working with that was a bit of a challenge. There was some new vegetables we actually brought into our range as well. So we looked at baby corn, bamboo shoots, things like that. Our focus was on our range of peas, broccoli, and green beans, which was really exciting. And then I guess the increase of the size of tray, which meant we could actually just put more in, which was really great. And the development stage was we made a meal in the tray, and then we looked at it and we said, okay, that looks ridiculous with that amount of broccoli versus that amount of pasta, and sort of working out how that went about. Normally we have a set range of how much veggies we would have in a tray based on the size of what it's going to fit. And with this range, we sort of said, that doesn't matter anymore. We need to push the boundaries as much as we can. So getting that fiber carb sort of balance was tricky.
I understand your frustration. I know, and members know that, they get a meal plan every month with the recipes, and I'll be in calculating the nutrition, and I'll be excited about a recipe and go, yes, I've got the carbs down, but then the fiber is not high. So you've got to go back and change. So it does take, I understand, appreciate the frustration, but it's a good challenge. I mean, we're both foodies, but yeah, it's just tinkering, isn't it? And it makes you think outside the box as a dietitian. We study, nutritional science, but then if you're a foodie, it really helps us come up with creative ideas and flavor. I mean, we don't want meals that are bland. And this is what I talk about in our webinars all the time. We've got to live. We've got to enjoy food. We shouldn't just feel like we're just on a strict diet. And I know when I tried all the meals, so Kiara and the chefs had them all set out, all the 25 meals, and then they had the nutrition criteria. And we got to try and look at the nutrition criteria, and it was and beautifully presented. Really beautifully presented, really colourful, and not that bland colour. When you heat up a ready meal, and sometimes the beans look a bit like how I grew up, which was boiled spinach and beans, bless my mum, with lots of salt. It was quite vibrant, vibrant colours,
and that's
which is
why
good.
we really stressed on the the shelf life period as well, as that
Yeah.
we didn't want them to lose that color throughout that time.
Yes.
And they definitely don't. And I think as well, this is a range that one of the questions would you recommend this as a meal, like in general? And I think for myself, my dad loves Youfoodz. He's the biggest advocate, even before I even started working here.
Oh, there you go.
And this is the range for him. This was, when I think about food that, that needs to meet his particular dietary needs,
Yep.
it ticks the boxes as well. Even though he doesn't have diabetes, it still hits those targets for a really
Absolutely.
balanced and nutritionally beneficial meal. So yeah, it's really exciting. Yeah.
And I definitely will be ordering I'm living with my mum temporarily, my daughter, and she is overcooking. She just have tea and toast. So I've been cooking and I've been doing all my recipes on her. But I know when I leave next year, the one thing that mum's very healthy. She's a healthy 70-year-old, but she's less likely to eat a meal if you're not there. She'll have tea and toast, or a cup of soup, which is just water with salt in it. So although she likes food, so I think with the Youfoodz, you're right, just like your dad. The biggest thing that I want mum to make sure she's eating enough is protein, having quality meal, and so we went through it together the other day and looking at all that. And mum's a bit of likes old-fashioned traditional meals, like a roast, nothing too spicy. So there was a good amount of options, which was great. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing to remember, like I said before, that it's a really important part of this partnership, that every meal sold, Youfoodz is giving 50 cents back to us as Diabetes Australia. And that's not to put in our pocket, it's to go to helping all our members who are at risk or living with diabetes, so going into the programs and all the resources. So that's really exciting, that being a not-for-profit, we're always looking at ways of making money to be able to put back into all the great programs and resources that we produce. Are there any questions? I can't believe it's almost, goodness me, I was going to say 12. I'm in Brisbane just for a day at a last-minute workshop, but I'm looking at Sydney time here. So for some people, it's almost 12, and for us in sunny, it's very humid today.
It's awful.
Thank you. I was dying walking up the hill to the office. But is there any other questions? Please ask. I'd love to hear. Yep, Veronica. Veronica, do you have a question? You can take yourself off mute and fire away. So Veronica, can you take yourself off mute? And then we've got Alison. Hi, Alison. Nice to see your name again. Well, while Veronica is going off mute, do you want to ask a question, Alison? And then we'll come back to Veronica, if that's okay.
Actually decided to start ordering Youfoodz about a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
And almost immediately I'm getting a thing saying, yes, your next order is due. And I thought, panic.
Yes.
I wasn't ready for this. And so then I knew about this being today. So I actually rang them up and said to them, look, I'm not ready for all of that, because I'm not real clever on the internet and I much prefer to talk. The lass has sort of slowed me down. I said to her, look, I really need to hear all of this today before I'm ready to order again.
Absolutely.
And I've just found this really, really good today. So when I get her, she's given me till the 9th of December before I even have to think about ordering again, by which time, because I wasn't really ready. No, they came on a Sunday morning and we're normally churchgoers, so I didn't even know what time they'd be coming at first. But I realise now, having listened to everything here, I can actually change that delivery time to suit me better. And I really, being the first time and new, I didn't quite know what the story was. So I'm most appreciative, especially to all that Kiara's had to say today, and you too, Beck, of course. But I've learnt so much and I'm ready now to be a lot more sensible about what I do, how I do it, and how we. To be honest, I've got to the stage where I'm just about fed up with cooking full stop and counting all the. I've been 54 years type 1 diabetic. I'm really well, but I've had enough. And I have a husband who doesn't want to eat very much. He's older than I am. And I really am ready. I'm feeling very guilty because I've cooked all my life, but I'm just spent. and
Okay.
a certain, probably to do with diabetes burnout, I don't know. And I'm really looking forward to just having a bit of a holiday. And I guess I can probably empty out an awful lot of stuff that's been in the pantry for forever. But I'm also feeling guilty because it's just never been the way I've lived, you know. But I thank you to use YouFoods for what you're doing for us, because hopefully I'll still be able to be well enough. I've got to accept that now that I'm old, I'm going to get worse because all my friends are. And it's really sad to accept the losses that come with age. But I just figure that if I'm not going to have a mile of saucepans for him to wash up and a mile of stuff,
Yeah.
I can just turn around and put a meal on the table. I think that's the way to go for me. So thank you very much to both of you.
You're so welcome. This is why I think the collab is so important. You know, the convenience of having a convenient meal is not particularly or not normally very inclusive. So if you think about people who do have dietary needs, they don't get that option to have a convenient meal. And the fact that we can bridge that gap is so exciting, and it's so important to show that as well, because like you said, it's really hard, and sometimes, you know, I get over cooking and I love cooking, and so to have something that will fill that gap and still be good for you and, you know, help you along the way and fulfill that need that you have is amazing.
And I thank you, Alison, for your honesty. And it's like I said, this is the first time I've recommended a ready meal. So we all get tired of cooking, so we shouldn't feel guilty. And, you know, Alison, with type 1 diabetes for 54 years, it is, you want to still have control of what you eat. So at least you can rest assured, like I said, with that nutrition criteria, there were non-negotiables, and Kiara got that. And that's why it was a good challenge. So then you just have to read the label to know the exact carbs, and then happy days. But yeah, Alison as well, that's the other thing. We want to make sure, because I went through this with my mum, she's not used to the automatic delivery. So looking at, if you don't want to, you want to try before you buy. So that's why I've got today's webinar. Check it out, see if you like it. And then if you don't want it every week, then you can manually do it yourself. So then you've still got that that control. Because it's just a system thing. So yeah, that's what we wanted to make sure people understand.
Any other questions, you're more than welcome to reach out to myself or to customer care. We're more than happy to help out. Subscription services can be tricky to manage before you have an idea of how they work. So yeah, we understand for sure.
Absolutely. Oh, and Louise just said, Alison, please don't feel guilty. You're looking after yourself and you're hubby in a new way. Absolutely right. And that's what these webinars are about, because it's not just about learning about what to do. It's also us sharing our experiences. It's not easy, and we all get burnout. But then when, like I said, that 180 decisions a day for people living with diabetes, this is one decision we can take away, that you know that it's been stamped by us. Now, Veronica, I can see you've got your hand up, but you're not coming off mute, but I want to make sure that you have your question answered. So you could even type it, or if you can get yourself off mute, your hand is up. And like I said, everyone, if you have any other questions, we're going to put this up, and my wing lady is going to put this recording up in the forum, and that will be an opportunity to ask questions and also give us feedback. Like email me if there are any issues. This is just the start of a very long partnership with YouFoods. So yeah, any feedback would be great.
Yeah, I'm always happy to hear it, that's for sure.
And I remember when I went to the YouFoods facility, we came away with, they had a nice bag, a little tote bag with all these meals. So I went on the plane with all these meals. It was great. I mean, I'm a busy single mum, and I went home to Nanny McPhee and my daughter, and we had all these meals for a couple of days. I was very excited. I didn't have to cook, although I love cooking.
Goodie bag full of little esky juices and
that was great.
Snacks. Yeah, for sure. You'll always get, if you come and visit us, we always like to give it
oh, it's lovely. Yeah. Now, Veronica, I can't see you coming off mute, my love. So let's see if you've typed in the question. I'll make sure we got. Oh, thanks, Melissa. They've been very useful. So, Veronica, ask us, maybe email me or send us a
post in Diabetes Connect if you have any questions.
That'd be great.
Because your mic is enabled, so you should be able to take yourself off mute there.
So the top
I'll have
right-hand
to email
corner.
you, Kiara, or find out. I've just, as we were talking, I thought I'll go in and see how easy it is to reactivate my account because I haven't ordered for a while, and I've gone in and I had a reward, a code there to use to reactivate code and everything else, but it hasn't accepted it. So I was like, oh,
Okay.
Oh, here we go. Veronica, where are deliveries made?
Australia-wide. So
Australia-wide.
Our head office and our factory here is in Brisbane, but we deliver Australia-wide.
Fantastic. It's a great
and I'm in
question.
Hobart and I get them down here. So
Yes.
Hooray! And I'm in Wollongong and we're going to be getting them very soon. So.
Can I ask, what about country towns? I have a
Yes.
daughter who could benefit from this, but she's in a little country town and I know she can't get most of the other home delivered meals because
Okay.
she's 70 k's out of Wagga Wagga.
Oh, wow.
Okay. I'm 90% confident that we deliver to there, but yeah, I'm more than happy to ask that question, even if do you know the postcode by any chance?
2656, I think.
Sorry, what was that?
2656.
2656. It's a great question. Because there'll be a lot of
Okay,
people
perfect.
at times.
I'll have a bit of a look.
And while you're looking that up, I'm telling you, I was most impressed with the packaging that it arrived in.
Oh, good. Great. Yeah, we spent again, another nuance is how it's going to look in a box. Obviously, if a box is delivered upside down or, that ruins what the appeal is in the packaging. And we spend a lot of time on that, making sure that through our factory it's efficient, but also it's accurate as well.
Well, it was all silver lined, frozen bits top and bottom, and
Yep.
no chance that, and it was delivered to the door in a sheltered spot, admittedly, but I heard it straight away and came in,
Yeah,
But
they're
I
designed.
was really impressed.
Yeah, they're designed that if you are home at that particular time, they will stay nice and cold for you for when you get home as well.
Kiara, one last question. How much on average are these meals per meal?
I believe, let me just have a look. I can't
Around
see
10-ish dollars, I think.
I think they're $10.95 from
Yeah, I knew it was
from
10-ish
memory.
something because I saw what you had. It was like 9 meals and it was 90 something dollars. So
Yeah, I believe they're $10.95. Yeah.
$10.95. Great. Wow. That's good.
Yeah. So for a full meal, that's pretty good
Well, these days, yeah. And like I said, the more you order, there will be a discount as well.
Yep. Yep.
How do you know they get the discount? That's the other thing. Or is it just if you order the diabetes meals?
How
get the
do we
discount?
know on our end, or how does it pop up on the?
Yeah, how does it pop up in the cart? That's
So if I go,
you usually
thought of
see
that
it
question.
comes up. It comes
Oh,
up
it
with
comes up.
discount
Yeah.
code.
oh, okay.
down.
Your
Oh,
discount
discount
code
code.
and tells you how much off, which is what I was trying to do when I was just listening. I was like, oh, I might try and reactivate now. And yeah, because I had the code and it didn't
Where did
accept
you get
it.
the code from? So the discount code, does that come up or?
I had one that was sort of sitting on my account to say, like reactivate now and get XYZ off.
Oh, okay.
But
Got
it
So comes up.
hasn't gone in. But there was an email sent to all members with the discount code for DA members.
So what we can do is, which I know you're already thinking of, Ange, is when we upload this presentation, we can add the discount code just when we have quick Q&A. So then, because people may not have read the email or if we can add the code or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is it not possible to give us that discount code? Because I don't know that I've got it.
Let's look at it. Good question.
I'll just find the email. There was an email sent out. Let me just find it and I will let you know the code. So for our D, I think it's just DA. Yeah, it's all capital letters and it's DA members YF.
So DA members YF, I'm just typing it. DA members, and that's all
capitals.
DA
Members, plural.
YF.
Yes.
And is that just for the first order? This is just
Yes,
Or is it-
40% off first subscription.
40% off.
I think it's so much off.
Up to 40% off. Yeah, depending.
Yeah.
For first subscription. Easy. Well, that's good because they're all the little bits that, yeah, good that we answer that now.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'd like to thank Chiara for coming in. Well, not coming in, being tuning in virtually, and thank you, all our members, for tuning in as well and asking some great questions. And thank you to Ange for being our wing lady. And we hope maybe in the new year we can, oh, there's some nice little claps there. We can do another webinar, touch base again.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. I love it. I love talking food and this project in particular. And yeah, it's been a pleasure.
So what I might next year I'll come to I've been going up to Brisbane a lot, so I might come into the New Foods and we'll go in the kitchen and present from there or something. It'd be great.
Sounds amazing. We're always happy to have people in our kitchen. It's always ready for a showcase.
But thank you for everyone, and the recording will be uploaded in Diabetes Connect and a chance to ask any more questions.
And thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alison.
Thanks, Alison.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. We will see you soon. And as Beck mentioned, the recording will be up next week in Diabetes Connect. And we'll see you next time.
Thanks, everyone.
ladies.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye.